Hey everyone, welcome back to Manga Minute. I'm thrilled to share my latest recap video with you. If you missed the previous one, no worries, just take a quick peek in the description below for the link. Now, let's dive right in and enjoy.
Amidst the impending threat, Luke felt a surge of dread. The intruders were closing in, and he realized they were about to attack him. Just as panic began to set in, Barlat arrived in the nick of time, rescuing him from danger. With relief washing over him, Luke silently thanked Barlat. Barlat, grasping Luke's hand firmly, moved swiftly and skillfully as he fought off the thieves, his actions a blur of decisive movements. The sight of Barlat's bravery incited the other enemies to rally. One of the bandits shouted commands, urging his comrades to fight back. He pointed out that the villagers, though armed, lacked experience in using their weapons. Luke watched the scene unfold with growing concern. This was the villagers' first time facing a real combat situation, and he feared the thieves would easily overwhelm them. His heart raced as he pondered the dire consequences. Amid the chaos, Noel stood steadfast, his shield at the ready. He barked out orders to his comrades, urging them to duck and fight back as they had in training. His voice carried a mix of urgency and encouragement, trying to instill confidence in their shaky resolve. Perrin hesitated, expressing doubt. The sheer number of enemies was daunting, and he questioned their ability to handle such a large group. The fear in his eyes mirrored the uncertainty felt by many of the villagers. Despite their inexperience, Noel's rallying cry began to stir a sense of determination among the villagers. They realized that their survival depended on their ability to work together and apply the skills they had practiced. The battle was far from over, and the outcome hinged on their collective courage and resilience. Hearing the taunts of the thief, who was confident the village would soon fall, Luke sprang into action. Before the man could finish his sentence, Luke cut him off with a swift kick, silencing him instantly. Rallying the villagers, Luke's voice rang out with authority. He ordered them to push the intruders back into the moat. Their bodies are still frozen, so their movements are slow. We can defeat them, he commanded. This rallying cry had an immediate effect. The villagers' morale soared as they realized they had a chance to defend their home. They charged at the thieves with renewed vigor, one villager exclaiming, "Take that! These guys are way easier than our teacher." Perrin, in the thick of the fight, fought to calm his nerves. He reminded himself to focus despite the chaos. Calm down. Focus. Ugh, I trained so much, but I'm still pathetic, he thought, frustration gnawing at him. Lando, facing a similar internal struggle, pushed himself to act. Come on, all we gotta do is push them off, he urged himself, drawing strength from Luke's leadership and the determination of his fellow villagers. The villagers, fueled by Luke's confidence and their collective resolve, fought with everything they had. They pushed the intruders back toward the moat, their unity and bravery turning the tide of the battle. As the thieves found themselves pushed back into the icy moat, one of them couldn't help but marvel at their predicament. We can't close in on them, he thought in disbelief. Okay, this is crazy. What the hell is going on? They looked like complete novices. They shouldn't be this strong. Meanwhile, amidst the chaos, another thief's thoughts were abruptly interrupted by a chilling sight. Boss, he exclaimed, seeing Doriel frozen solid in place. After a fierce battle, Seelan surveyed the aftermath with a sense of satisfaction tinged with regret. I cut you up and froze you little by little, she reflected, addressing Doriel. Shame I couldn't land any big moves on you on account of your huge muscles. But I guess you're all brawn and no brains. Huh? You didn't even notice that I'd been taking your body heat away with every cut. Struggling to speak through his frozen state, Doriel managed a muttered response, you little brat. That night, the village successfully apprehended all 40 intruders. The following day, after extracting vital information from the captured thieves about their abducted victims, they organized a swift and decisive rescue mission, successfully bringing the missing villagers back to safety. The victory was a testament to the villagers' resilience and unity in the face of adversity. Granny Nima had a triumphant look on her face as she surveyed the newly arrived refugees. It was a good thing they had reached them before the situation had become dire. Seelan, standing nearby, acknowledged Granny Nima's crucial role in their success. The elderly woman's interrogation methods had been key in getting the thieves to divulge their plans. Because of Nima's efforts, they had also managed to capture the lookouts, securing the village from any further immediate threat. Granny Nima, with a sly grin, seemed to revel in the effectiveness of her techniques. It was clear she had used her experience and wits to protect the village and its people. The villagers, grateful and relieved, knew they had her to thank for their current safety. They've just one problem left, dealing with the thieves they captured. Luke sure they've wreaked havoc on the lives of so many before their village, not to mention there are 43 of them. Normally they'd hand them over to a nearby domain with proper laws and policies, but considering the times and the recent influx of refugees, Luke doesn't think any domain has the wherewithal to accept them. As Luke pondered over the fate of the captured thieves, he was suddenly startled by a notification from the system. It asked if he would like to turn the thieves into villagers. His immediate reaction was one of caution. Making them villagers seemed far too risky. However, as he delved deeper into his thoughts, a new revelation dawned on him. Luke remembered an option he had previously overlooked: a rehabilitation center. It was a facility designed for the reform of criminals and miscreants. He realized that in his haste, he had only constructed a prison. But the information suggested that this center might offer a way to reform some of the thieves. He considered the implications of his gift, noting that the title of villager could be assigned without necessarily treating the individuals the same as the other villagers. By making the thieves villagers, he could use his ability to assess them, monitoring their loyalty and progress in reform. Luke understood that simply expelling the thieves would likely lead to them causing chaos elsewhere. With this in mind, Luke decided it was best to consult with the other villagers. The decision to reform the thieves could have significant consequences, and he wanted to ensure that everyone agreed on the best course of action. As Luke discussed the fate of the captured thieves with the villagers, opinions varied widely among the community. Some were adamant that executing the thieves was the only solution, viewing them as irredeemable criminals whose presence posed a threat. Others argued against keeping them locked up, citing the burden on resources and the potential for them to become a liability. Amidst the debate, voices advocating for compassion emerged. Some villagers urged considering the circumstances that might have led the thieves to their actions, suggesting that not all might be guilty by choice. This viewpoint clashed sharply with those who saw them simply as scum deserving of punishment. Berlit raised concerns about future safety, emphasizing the importance of making a decisive and clear decision now to prevent repercussions later. Donga, sensing the tension and the community's unfamiliarity with one another, proposed a cautious approach, waiting to see what the Rehabilitation Center could achieve before finalizing any decisions. Amidst the heated discussion, the lingering trauma of past losses surfaced, reminding everyone of the stakes involved. Fear and grief colored the villagers' perspectives, each advocating for what they believed would ensure the safety and stability of their newfound home. After the villagers discussed the fate of the captured thieves, some individuals chose to leave the village. It was a bittersweet moment for Luke, seeing familiar faces depart, knowing that their disagreements had led them to seek a different path. Granny Nema, wise and observant as always, understood the dynamics at play. She empathized with those who felt conflicted or disagreed with the village's decisions. Nema knew that discord was inevitable in any community, especially one where diverse opinions clashed. She shared her insights with Luke, reminding him of the transient nature of loyalty and unity in communities. People's memories were short, and their allegiances could shift with time and circumstance. Nema encouraged Luke not to dwell on these departures but to continue leading with conviction and foresight. Despite the departures, Luke made a decisive move by integrating the Dorial caravan of 43 people into the village. With this addition, the village surpassed 300 inhabitants and reached level 5. Luke's decision reflected his commitment to growth and resilience, even in the face of challenges and changes within the community. Using his gift, Luke constructed a rehabilitation center within the village, a structure intended to reform criminals and wrongdoers. He hoped it would provide a chance for those who had strayed to find redemption and contribute positively to the community. Luke observed as Granny Nema took charge of overseeing the rehabilitation efforts. She was known for her firm yet compassionate approach, making her well-suited for the task. Luke felt a mixture of hope and uncertainty about the center's effectiveness. It was a new endeavor, and its success remained to be seen. As the first group of 5 thieves emerged from the rehabilitation center, Luke hoped they had understood the gravity of their actions and were ready to change. However, when he checked their loyalty levels through his information window, disappointment washed over him. Their loyalty statuses showed defiance and resistance, indicating that they had not yet embraced the village's values. Seeing that, Luke gave out his order, "Take them away, Granny." Calculating his next move, Luke decided that repairing the gate was his immediate priority. The recent attack had highlighted vulnerabilities in their defenses, prompting him to consider upgrades that would prevent similar breaches in the future. While reviewing the village's status through the information system, Luke stumbled upon a new feature unlocked by the village's increased level: facility customization. This allowed him to freely modify the shape, arrangement, and other aspects of existing facilities using village points. Intrigued by the possibilities, Luke recognized the need to allocate his resources wisely, balancing flexibility with strategic improvements. As he mapped out the village in his mind, Luke mentally cataloged its current facilities: row houses shared by residents, watchtowers for security, an outdoor kitchen, fields for agriculture, a garbage incinerator, a prison, a rehabilitation center, a church, huts, wells, a storehouse, and a protective stone wall with gates at each cardinal direction. With those in mind, Luke pondered over the effectiveness of the water moat he had recently constructed to thwart the thieves. With that threat neutralized, he considered what new addition could benefit the village. Recognizing the importance of communal well-being, he settled on building a bathhouse, envisioning it as not only a practical amenity, but also a symbol of comfort and hygiene for the villagers. In the heart of the village, a new structure had emerged, catching the attention of Berlit and the other villagers. It stood as a symbol of community progress, a public bath designed by Luke's ingenuity. Berlit, always curious, questioned its purpose, wondering aloud about its unfamiliar design. Luke, standing proudly nearby, took the opportunity to explain. He described it as a place for everyone to bathe, carefully delineating the sections: blue for men, red for women. His enthusiasm was palpable, reminiscent of when he introduced the village to his earlier invention, the toilet. Excitement rippled through the villagers as they awaited their turn to experience the bathhouse firsthand. Luke assured them they could begin using it immediately, ready to address any questions or concerns they might have. Inside, as Donga stepped into the bath, he marveled at the hot water and wondered about its source. Meanwhile, Luke checked in on their experience, eager to ensure everything was to their liking. The men's response was unanimous, praising the quality of the water and the comfort it provided. Likewise, the women echoed similar sentiments from their side of the bathhouse. Observing their contentment, Luke couldn't help but feel gratified. He hoped that this new amenity would not only serve practical purposes but also provide much-needed relaxation and comfort to the villagers, who had initially been hesitant to use such facilities. In the heart of the village, the training grounds buzzed with activity. Barlat, a stalwart figure among the villagers, examined the shattered remains of their last wooden sword with a heavy sigh. The training swords were essential for honing their skills and preparing for potential threats, but now they were down to nothing. Seelan, known for her strength and occasional mishaps, took responsibility for the broken sword. Her apology echoed her frustration at their dwindling supplies. Luke, their leader, frowned deeply as he absorbed the grim reality. They were not just short on swords but on all types of weapons. Apart from Barlat and Seelan's swords, the rest were makeshift tools gathered from their hunts, hardly suitable for defense against serious threats. Noel, always the voice of practicality, expressed his concern. He understood the careful preparation during their training sessions but feared their vulnerability in a real battle without proper gear. His suggestion to venture farther into the wilderness in search of better resources resonated with their collective need for better weapons. Luke, ever conscientious of their safety, raised a crucial question. While venturing farther could yield better materials, their current lack of weapons posed a significant risk. Seelan acknowledged the dilemma, asserting that remaining idle was not an option. Noel's proposal to send out scouts, stripped of their gear, to scavenge for materials sparked contemplation in Luke. His gift, unique yet limited to constructing facilities rather than weapons, left him grappling with how best to support his people's defense. Barlat, sensing Luke's internal struggle, offered reassurance. He reminded Luke of their shared experiences in the forest and their cautious approach to scouting missions. Barlat's words carried gratitude for Luke's leadership and a gentle suggestion to prioritize his own needs for once. Luke, however, hesitated to prioritize himself over the village's security. Noel's blunt reminder of their cramped living conditions, despite the luxury of a newly built bath, highlighted the disparity between Luke's selflessness and his personal comfort. As the conversation continued, someone interjected with a teasing tone, "You just don't get it, huh, Lil Gart?" Noelle, startled, turned to Taylor, Perrin, and Lando. Guys, Taylor teased, grinning mischievously. Imagine all the little mishaps sharing one toilet and bath could lead to. Lando chimed in, nodding knowingly. They've definitely considered it, no doubt. Perrin joined in with a smirk. Sharing a bed? They must like it that way. Huh? Hearing the teasing banter, Luke impulsively decided to spend 50 village points to upgrade his small abode to a medium-sized house with 3 beds and 2 toilets simultaneously. Exploring the newly upgraded house, Luke couldn't help but marvel at how everything seemed to align perfectly with their needs. The 3 rooms in their medium-sized abode provided just the right amount of space, offering a sense of comfort and functionality. Spotting the larger bed, Milia inquired respectfully, "Master Luke, why is this bed bigger?" Luke chuckled softly. "I think our original bed got an upgrade in the process." Milia quickly replied with determination, "You're the village head. After all, it's only natural that the boss has the biggest bed, and I'll join you on it. I can't sleep well on a bed I'm not used to," she declared confidently, "so it's settled. We'll share it." Seelan couldn't help but interject with a grin. "Hey, that's not fair. What about me?" Sensing the rising tension, Luke quickly intervened. "All right then, you two can share the bed." He adjusted the bed size and added, "I'm fine with a single bed size, but if I ever need a bigger one, I can just use an extra point to enlarge it." Exploring the capabilities of his newfound abilities, Luke found himself immersed in the creative possibilities. Pondering aloud, he marveled at the ease of customizing their village's defenses and facilities. His thoughts turned to preemptive measures, considering potential threats to their community. With a focused determination, Luke began implementing his ideas, seamlessly integrating stairs into the stone wall and creating strategic embrasures. Each step of his design reflected a blend of practical defense and strategic advantage. Inspired by his own idea, Luke continued, "I know. I'll create openings in the wall to make embrasures." Examining the newly created openings, Luke exclaimed, "They're deeper than I expected. We might need spears or something similar to defend from here." In the midst of his planning, Luke was surprised by Donga's sudden appearance atop the wall. Donga, ever curious and playful, had been drawn by Luke's activities and couldn't resist investigating further. Curious, Donga peered into the newly created spaces. "What's this space for?" Luke explained, gesturing towards the embrasures. "I thought these could be strategic spots to strike back from if we're ever under attack. But I'm not sure if any of our current weapons—" Interrupting, Donga reminisced, "This reminds me of those sandcastles I used to build as a kid." Focused on enhancing the village's defenses, Luke considered the limitations of their weaponry. He realized that without suitable weapons, their ability to defend against potential threats was severely compromised. Being located in a remote area meant that acquiring weapons through conventional means was nearly impossible. Inspiration struck when Luke recognized the potential of his facility customization skill. With determination, he set about using his gift to craft a makeshift wooden sword, a practical solution given the materials at hand. However, Luke encountered a setback when attempting to complete the sword's hilt, realizing that his customization abilities were tied to the structures he modified. Undeterred by this obstacle, he resolved to refine his approach for future creations. Upon successfully fashioning the wooden sword, he tested the wooden sword's effectiveness. Luke swung it enthusiastically, pleased with its simplicity and low cost, yet noting its inherent fragility due to the material's nature. This led him to ponder alternative materials that could yield stronger weapons, considering the resources available within their village facilities. As Luke explored his options, he contemplated which facility could provide the necessary durability and strength for crafting weapons capable of defending their village effectively. His quest for stronger arms reflected his commitment to safeguarding their community against potential threats in their isolated surroundings. Examining the solid iron bar of the village jail, Luke was impressed by its durability. He realized that such sturdy material could serve another purpose beyond confinement. It could potentially be transformed into effective weapons for defense. Deciding to utilize his facility customization skill, Luke set out to enhance the security of the jail while also crafting a weapon. His first step was to reinforce the bars to prevent any potential escape attempts, a practical measure given the circumstances. As Luke reshaped the iron bar into a sword, his concentration remained unwavering despite the prisoner's startled reaction to the sudden modifications. Focused on achieving the right balance and form, he meticulously crafted the blade, making adjustments for optimal functionality. Upon completing the iron sword, Luke pondered the next step, crafting a suitable hilt. Aware of the need for expertise in weapon making, he considered seeking advice from someone in the village with knowledge in this area. His successful creation of the sword sparked optimism about the potential for producing various tools and armaments to bolster their defenses. Luke's discovery of his ability to use his facility customization skill for crafting surprised Seelan. She couldn't quite fathom how a skill geared towards village development could extend into weapon making. Despite her initial confusion, Seelan's curiosity prompted her to examine the iron sword Luke had forged. Impressed by the craftsmanship, Seelan wasted no time in testing its effectiveness. She swiftly engaged Barlat in a friendly spar, demonstrating the sword's balance and strength. Barlat, skilled in combat, adeptly countered Seelan's strikes, highlighting the sword's capability under pressure. After their brief bout, Seelan's enthusiasm was evident. She enthusiastically informed the rest of their group about Luke's creation, emphasizing its quality and practicality for their village's defense. Nima's unexpected arrival brought a sense of assurance to Luke. Her presence signified experience and wisdom, qualities he deeply respected. Seeing her, Luke greeted Granny Nima warmly, acknowledging her role in bringing the reformed thieves before him. As Luke used his ability to gauge their loyalty, he was pleasantly surprised to find that the once troublesome individuals now showed a high level of commitment and trustworthiness. Addressing the reformed thieves, Nima exclaimed with authority, "Listen up, all of you. From now on, you do as the chief says, understand?" The thieves responded in unison, "Yes, ma'am." Continuing in a commanding tone, she added, "If he tells you to work, you work. If he tells you to die, you die. Got it?" Again, the thieves replied in unison, "Yes, ma'am." Luke, witnessing their transformed demeanor, marveled at the stark change in their attitudes and demeanor. Eager to prove their newfound loyalty, the reformed thieves turned to Luke, expressing their readiness to serve under his leadership. This display of loyalty and obedience underscored the potential for redemption and transformation within their village, guided by the wisdom and guidance of figures like Granny Nima. Curious about the transformation, Luke asked Granny Nima, "What did you do to change them like this?" Nima replied calmly, "I'd like to say my guidance played a role." With a hint of regret, Nima continued, "I had hoped to instill fear and set them straight, but I never got the chance. Somehow, as soon as we placed them in the facility, they became docile." Eager for their first assignment, the reformed thieves eagerly pleaded, "Chief, we are your humble servants. Give us your orders." Luke hesitated, uncertain. "What should I do? Can I trust that they've truly been rehabilitated?" The thieves persisted, "Your orders, Chief." Deciding cautiously, Luke instructed, "For now, why don't you all go help Barlat?" Reflecting on their sudden change, Luke pondered, "I'm still unsure about them. But their loyalty is high and Granny Nima insists they've changed. The hunters have been keeping a close watch on those who have left the facility transformed. Their loyalty remains steadfast, and they haven't caused any trouble." Luke, observing the prisoner in the cell, reflected on the unfolding events and the unexpected challenges they brought. Suddenly, he heard a voice in his mind, a telepathic message from the neighboring cell. It was Satine, one of the thieves known for his gift of telepathy, a rare ability, especially among those with humble backgrounds like thieves. As Satine shared his backstory, once part of a prestigious merchant family, now fallen to thievery out of necessity, Luke contemplated the unusual occurrence of a thief possessing such a gift. It challenged his understanding of blessings typically reserved for nobles and the wealthy. Despite Satine's earnest plea for redemption, Luke sensed lingering defiance. Frustrated and unable to focus, Satine attempted to use his gift to glean information, but then heard something unexpected. The voice said, "Oh, Master Luke, you look so cute. I could just lick you all day long. Your lips, I could just eat you up. Even if it's just once. I would love to cook you up and eat you." Milia suddenly appeared, and the voice Satine heard was from her. Offended, Milia retorted, "Weird. How rude of you." Nima intervened, explaining the young man has a gift that lets him read people's minds. Quickly changing the subject, Milia redirected, "Granny Nima, this man says he wants to be rehabilitated right away." Nima seemed pleased. "Is that so? How admirable of you. I think I like you." She began escorting Satine towards the Rehabilitation Center. Protesting, Satine exclaimed, Wait, that woman is way more dangerous than I am. Let me go. Luke, intrigued by Satine's strong reaction to Milia's thoughts, couldn't help but inquire further. He asked Milia directly what had been on her mind during their encounter with Satine. Milia, caught off guard and hesitant to reveal the true nature of her thoughts, initially brushed off Luke's question with a vague reply, claiming it was nothing of consequence. Luke persisted, sensing there was more to the situation than met the eye. He pointed out how visibly shocked Satine had been, prompting Milia to hastily concoct an excuse about thinking ahead to cleaning duties, speculating that Satine might find such tasks distasteful. Accepting Milia's explanation, Luke nodded in understanding, realizing that Satine's unfamiliarity with their village's facilities could indeed have sparked his surprise. Relieved to avoid further scrutiny, Milia affirmed Luke's conclusion, acknowledging his astuteness with a nod of agreement and gratitude for his understanding. Luke sensed a palpable unease settling over the village, a feeling that something was amiss. Concern etched his features as he turned to Berlit, the trusted member of his council, seeking answers to the growing tension. Berlit's grave expression confirmed Luke's fears. Seelan and the hunting team had not returned as expected. The realization heightened Luke's worry. Their absence beyond sunset in the forest posed significant risks, especially with nightfall approaching. Amidst the apprehension, a young girl's voice suddenly pierced the tense atmosphere, mentioning something about the curse of the Almiraj. Luke's brow furrowed in confusion at the mention of a curse. Almiraj, a type of giant aggressive rabbit that can grow to be over 1 meter large with a sharp horn on its head. Its meat is soft and easy to eat. Its horn and fur have many uses too. On a good day, our hunters bring back a couple in one trip. The girl lifted her hand, revealing something to Luke. Look, they're Almiraj testicles. Luke was taken aback. Why do you have... Interrupting, the girl continued. They were just so huge. I couldn't resist. But these aren't ordinary balls. About a week ago, the hunters brought back an Almiraj as usual. Recounting her experience, she shivered. I looked at it and felt this chill. It was supposed to be dead, but I swear its eyes followed these balls. It was eerie. Slowly, I moved closer to check, just to be sure I wasn't imagining things. Then suddenly, it let out this horrible screech. Out of nowhere, the supposedly dead Almiraj came back to life. Berlit, attempting to rationalize the situation, speculated that the potent scent of the rotting testicles might have triggered a reaction from the Almiraj, potentially explaining its unexpected revival. However, the girl vehemently insisted that the testicles were cursed, tossing them towards Berlit and Luke as proof of her claim. Berlit speculated further, considering the possibility of pheromones attracting more Almiraj to the area. Luke, increasingly alarmed, started to voice concern about the safety of Seelan and the hunting team. Before Luke could act, a call from the watchtower drew their attention to a new threat. Berlit analyzed the creature from afar. It seems like the hunters aren't the only ones in danger. Luke responded with a sinking feeling, but that's not a pack of Almiraj. Luke's unease deepened as they faced the unsettling possibility of multiple threats converging on their village. The mystery surrounding the cursed Almiraj testicles added an eerie dimension to the unfolding events, leaving them on edge as they prepared to confront whatever awaited them beyond the village walls.